Good morning, students. Today we are going to take up certain multiple choice questions related to the Companies Act 2013. So first question is in front of you on screen and it says that common seal is dash for the company, and in options you have option A compulsory, option B optional. Yes, which is the right answer? Yes, the right answer is option B, as common seal has been made optional by the Companies Amendment Act 2015. So next question is, which of the following may be incorrect with regard to illegal association under section 464? Now, if you try to recall what is stated under section 464, read with rule 10 of the company's miscellaneous rules 2014, then you will be able to appreciate that option A, option B, option C, so whatever is stated under these three options has to be there for an association to be termed as illegal association. Yes, what does it mean? That means association which is carrying out business for profit motive and having more than 50 members and is not registered as a company or is formed under any law for the time being in force. So that's the way section 464 along with rule 10 of the company's miscellaneous rules 2014 explains the concept of illegal association. And please note that option D is the right option, as the activities carried out by illegal association may be perfectly legal, but still it is an illegal association because of the first three conditions as specified in option A, B and C being present simultaneously. Hope it makes it clear. Third one is appeal to NCLAT, that is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, can be made against the order of A. NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, B. NAFRA, that is National Financial Reporting Authority. Yes, this is the authority which has been constituted under section 132 of the Companies Act, and option C. CCI, that is Competition Commission of India. Now what is the right answer? Yes, the right answer is option D, as the appeal against the order of NCLT, appeal against the order of National Financial Reporting Authority and appeal against the order of CCI, that is Competition Commission of India, can be made to NCLAT. Fine. Let me elaborate it further. Regarding option C, that is Competition Commission of India. Earlier there was COMPAT. COMPAT stands for Competition Appellate Tribunal. There was COMPAT under Competition Act itself. But when rationalization of tribunals was done by the Finance Act 2017, at that time COMPAT was merged with NCLAT. So right now it is rightly said that appeal to NCLAT can be made against the order of NCLT, NAFRA and CCI. So here the right answer is option D, that is all of the above. So next question is quite interesting, as it relates to presence of quorum and non-presence of quorum. So if in a meeting called on requisition, quorum is not present within half an hour, meeting shall stand option A adjourned, option B cancelled. So what's the right answer? Adjourned? No, the right answer is option B cancelled. Had it been meeting not called on requisition and quorum not being present within half an hour, then the right choice would have been meeting shall stand adjourned. But if the meeting was called on requisition and the quorum is not present within half an hour of the scheduled time, then meeting shall stand cancelled rather than adjourned. It's very logical. So those who filed a request for meeting and they themselves are not interested in holding the meeting, then what's the fun in adjourning it? Fine. So law logically has answered this situation. Now, to be a director in an existing company, application for DIN is made through option A, DIR 6, option B, SPICE, that is simplified performa for incorporating companies electronically, option C, DIR 3, and option D, none of the above. Yes? Which answer is the correct one? Read the question carefully. The statement is saying to be a director in an existing company. So if one wishes to be a director in an existing company, then one will have to apply for DIN through form DIR 3. Yes. What is form DIR 6? DIR 6 is the form which has to be filed for intimation of change in any particulars. Yes. And through SPICE, who gets DIN? SPICE is the form which is filled and filed at the time of registration of a new company. And there, if people who wish to be directors don't have DIN, then they may apply for the DIN through this form only. This form gives an opportunity for 3 persons to apply for DIN through simplified performa for incorporating companies electronically itself. So the right choice in our question is option C, that is DIR 3, because DIR 3 is the form which is to be filled by a person who wishes to be a director in an existing company. Fine? Yes. Next statement is, which additional clause is a unique requirement in Memorandum of Association of OPC? Fine. Option A, name clause. Option B, objects clause. Option C, subscription or association clause. And option D, nomination clause. Yes. You have thought of the right answer? Yes, the right answer is option D, that is nomination clause. Yes, because the nomination clause specifies the name of the person who in event of the death of the subscriber shall become member of the company. So, Memorandum of Association of one person company, that is OPC, shall have to have nomination clause also. And this is a unique requirement in case of Memorandum of one person company. Let us move further. Entrenchment clause in Articles of Association means alteration conditions or procedures that are option A, more restrictive, option B, more lenient. Yes, the right answer is option A, as entrenchment clause enables the company to provide for stricter conditions for alteration. Next, doctrine of indoor management is an exception to the option A, doctrine of separate legal entity. What is doctrine of separate legal entity? Yes, that is the doctrine which explains that company has an entity of its own different from rest of the world, and its entity is legal. Yes, and this doctrine got substantiated by landmark judgments of Solomon versus Solomon and Company Limited and Lee versus Lee's Air Farming Limited. Yes, option B has a doctrine of ultra vires acts. What's that doctrine? Ultra vires means beyond power. Yes. So doctrine of ultra vires acts, it's related to which landmark judgment and related to which concept in the Companies Act? Yes, you rightly recall Ashbury Railway Carriage Company Limited versus Rich's case. Yes, and whatever is specified in the objects clause of the memorandum, company is authorized to do that. As a object clause of the memorandum of association tells us the permitted range of activities of the company. So doctrine of ultra vires acts is related to objects clause of memorandum of association. Yes, third one, that is the option C, is doctrine of constructive notice. What is doctrine of constructive notice? Yes, doctrine of constructive notice, by virtue of section 399 of the Companies Act, those who deal with the company are supposed to have implied or constructive notice of the contents of documents of the company. That is the doctrine of constructive notice. And what is option D? That is doctrine of lifting up the corporate veil. Yes. What do we mean by lifting up the corporate veil? So these are the situations when the corporate entity of the company is ignored and who is the wrongdoer behind the screen is looked into. So I have explained all the doctrines. Now let us go back to the question. The question asked, doctrine of indoor management is an exception to the, yes, it is an exception to the doctrine of constructive notice. And doctrine of indoor management was laid down in the landmark judgment of, yes, Royal British Bank versus Tarquin, popularly known as Tarquin's rule. What did doctrine of indoor management establish? Doctrine of indoor management established that outsiders cannot go beyond a point. So they cannot inquire into internal proceedings of the company. So their interests need to be protected under the doctrine of indoor management. So doctrine of indoor management is an exception to the doctrine of constructive notice. Now, next question. Shelf prospectus has a shelf life or validity period of not exceeding option A 6 months, option B 1 year, option C 2 years, and option D none of the above. Yes, the right answer is option B, that is 1 year. It has a validity period of 1 year. So section 31 subsection 1 specifies it that a period not exceeding 1 year. Now this is the last question for today's presentation, and that is, which company is not required to transact any business through postal ballot? Option A, one person company, that is OPC. Option B, company having members up to 200. And option C, A and B both. And option D, none of the above. Yes, you have studied the concept of postal ballot along with the relevant rules. So try to tell me the right answer. Yes, the right answer is option C. That means A and B both. This is as per second proviso to Rule 22 sub Rule 16. Thank you. Have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed today's session.